When we got together for season 2, we had the Ganja Baby, also known as Heidi Ho, and for the first time, we had Chief Footnote coming on board with us, our good friend Sean Kota, who's in the studio helping us out right now. Peace and love to you, brother. Yeah, so what do? You know? We exposed our friend, Mr. Alex Jones, TV, radio host from, Austin, Texas, you know?
That's right.
He's blowing the minds of the nation and around the world, you know what I'm saying? So what did we do? What did we show the people there, Buzz?
Well, chances are that video, or that movie Terror Storm, probably scared the crap out of you. I know the first time I watched some of his stuff, it really does leave you a little bit shaky and stuff because the information is so astounding. It's surreal in a way when you stop and think about it.
Stuff, Buzz.
You know, now I'm trying to remember which one Terror Storm was. We just talked about that. That was... now I'm going blank on that. I don't remember. We just talked about it.
That's all good. Buzz, good enough. Then we showed America destroyed by design. Now Alex Jones goes out of his way and he travels around the country and he goes into our national parks and he shows you that they're actually owned by none other than the United Nations. And he goes and he's asking people, these rangers and people in the parks, you know, if they know anything about this particular stamp mark. You know, that indicates that they are the owners and possessors of these state parks, and they have no idea. And he goes over there and he finds them and he shows you these markers. Anyway, America Destroyed by Design, Alex Jones, we showed it to you. Go online, check it out, prisonplanet.com, infowars.com. That's Mr. Alex Jones.
You know, remember, these things are given through treaty. That's how they're enforced, through treaty. Obviously, Congress cannot just openly make a law saying we're going to give this to the United Nations, but through treaty agreements, boom.
Absolutely.
That's how that works.
One of the things most dearest to my heart, and when it occurred and happened in this nation, I will never forget it, and I never will forget it, and every time the anniversary comes around, I will be showing you a program. And last year, we showed you Wake Up or Waco. Folks, we got to know that this is, as we were talking earlier this morning, the BATF, that's the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms. I'll be all right. They used the war on drugs to circumvent the law. And the law was, Buzz?
Habeas corpus.
No, posse comitatus.
Wrong one.
That's right. Posse comitatus is a law from way back in the 1800s, folks, that separates the military from the local police. And the drug war comes along, and I'll tell you, people, you know, they're using the ignorant to make laws to bring in the New World Order, and that's what I'm telling you. If you don't know that, you know, the BATF, they got trained 3 days at Fort Hood, and they also got use of the U.S. Coast Guard helicopters in which they were firing pistol machine guns out of down on the Branch Davidians, but that's a whole nother story. Ain't going to get into that, but that's what we were showing you, people. And then we showed Endgame. People, if you're not familiar with the Bilderbergs, Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relation, eugenics, population reduction agenda, well, this program will tell you exactly who's trying to instigate World War III. Buzz, is that the truth or what? Is that crazy?
It is.
All right. Well, the last thing we covered in that season there, Buzz, was a mind-blowing CIA, Cocaine Heroin Import Agency program called MK Ultra.
Kathy O'Brien.
The Kathy O'Brien story with Michael Phillips. It's a mind blower. I shared that with one of my friends once, and he's an older gentleman. He came back and he said, you know what, made him ball. People, this ain't even a joke. This is serious as a heart attack, you know? And let's see. That pretty much wraps it up. I didn't know we were going to bring up Operation Paperclip, but we'll leave that for now. Hey, we did the Food for Thought plug. Season 3. Auntie Lola was with us for a few programs. We did what? We covered marijuana, cannabis, hemp, God's favorite plant on the planet, biggest King Kong.
Yes, it is.
Plant. Of all the plants on the planet, it is the biggest economic engine in the world. What's the biggest cash crop in the country? I'll tell you, it's marijuana, cannabis, hemp. Now, folks, we covered it. Buzzy?
All the different uses of it, that's right.
We spent a lot of time researching, and this man right here, folks, if you haven't checked him out, Jack Hare, all right? The Emperor Wears No Clothes. He spent 17 years investigating and researching and put things back into the Library of Congress that had been taken out because they didn't want us to know some things about the history of this plant that can keep us a sovereign nation. And that's why it's banned and illegal, folks. That's right. It's the most talked about underground book of the last decade, and so 2 decades now. There's $100,000 challenge to the world to prove anything in this book wrong. So if you need some cash, check it out online
start
for
doing
free.
Homework and,
the full text is there for you to see, folks. Buzz, what else do we talk about? Season 3.
Oh, the timeline of the drug war laws that were the drug laws that were implemented from 1906 to 1973.
Buzz, we nailed it.
You know, and some of these are really important because keep in mind that every time a government agency has done an in-depth study on the detrimental uses of cannabis, hemp, marijuana, what do they come back with? LaGuardia's report, Nixon's report, the
got it.
DEA's report, all said the same thing, that this drug does no harm. The DEA report back in 1973 reported that cannabis, hemp, marijuana...
73 was when the DEA was established.
Okay, well, they did...
1993, I believe.
Oh, was it? Okay. Well, even better. Better technology to dive deeper and more years to do research. But even that report stated that cannabis hemp is the safest drug in pharmacopoeia, even safer than Tylenol.
Under
How many
Nixon,
people have died from Tylenol?
Under Nixon's administration, folks, this is a very extensive research that was done by the Schaefer Committee. And let me tell you, folks, it's the most comprehensive study of marijuana ever made in the United States. Landmark report. And what did this committee tell? Was it Nixon?
Yeah. That it did no harm.
Decriminalize.
Yep.
And what did he do?
Burn it. He didn't even read it, because when he heard that's what it said, he doesn't want any part of that. He needed something to give him fuel to continue this war on drugs, not to alleviate it and eliminate it, which it should be.
Buzz, we showed them hemp for victory. Come on, people. 1942 Agricultural Department program put out to encourage farmers to grow hemp for the war effort. Good God, they banned it in 1937, but when it's time for war, guess what? They'll bring it out of the closet. But meanwhile, they crucify it. I tell you, it's just like Jesus Christ. They beat it up all the time and lie about it. I tell you. Woo! But anyway, Buzz, we did that timeline. That was a fantastic thing we put together to educate ourselves, at least.
Oh, absolutely was.
We went over all the various uses for hemp, people. Come on. Food, fuel, fiber, etc. Medicine, you know?
Recreational as well. I mean, we talked about alcohol prohibition. We didn't put that in there, but we definitely covered it a bit there, as far
parallel the prohibition and what it allows.
Right.
The Al Capones, the black market.
And what was the outcome? Absolutely. Black market societies or black marketeering. It militarized the police, and then once that alcohol prohibition was over, well, what are they going to do with all these cops? They got to send them after something.
Yep.
Otherwise, they're going to just put them away, let them go. But
come on now.
Something.
Folks, we talked about the War of 1812 and what was involved with the War of 1812. If you don't know about it, go and check out Jack Hare's book, The Emperor Wears No Clothes. It's amazing history. The National Education Association that scripts all the books across this land is not going to tell you the truth about the War of 1812. You got to find it out for yourself. It's all about hemp. Good God Almighty. I'm not going to go into any more details because we'll never get through the program. But then again, we were telling y'all about Ron Paul. Hope you're enjoying your abomination. Let me tell you something. We were telling y'all about Ron Paul when the time was right. That time is gone. But anyway, Ron Paul is still out there, freedom fighter, doing it up for us. 2005, 2007, 2009 hemp initiatives, people. You want to maintain sovereignty? You don't want to be rolled up into a North American Union, have a whole new currency? You better get on the hemp train, baby. Get on the Canada bus, if you know what I'm talking about. Season 4, we had Chief Footnote as a guest on and off throughout the season. That's right, and we asked the question, what? Are you a guinea pig? Are you a human guinea pig? And are you still a human guinea pig? If you've watched the programs that we laid out, we were trying to tell you that Big Pharma is the sorcerer of today, folks. You got to know that. We pointed out every time we got on the program during those 2 seasons. Georgia Guidestones. If you don't know what the Georgia Guidestones and you've been watching this, I don't know, man. You must have your head up your butt. But anyway.
You ain't been watching that.
We came out of the gate in season 4. We showed you an amazing program called The Ricky Simpson Story. Run from the Cure, about a community in Nova Scotia that rediscovered the cure for cancer and a multitude of other illnesses, and guess what it is? Marijuana, cannabis, hemp. If you haven't seen it, go online and watch it for yourself. All right, so then what we do? We talk about pharmaceuticals in the water, Buzz.
Yep, Coumadin, the blood thinner, military poisoning. What's that one?
That was perchlorate, rocket fuel, all right? And it's in 22 states at the time we were doing the research, and there was a survey given up in the Boston area. They were testing mother's milk. Everybody they tested, guess what? Had perchlorate in it. Hey man, are you a human guinea pig? Are you going to continue to be a human guinea pig? Or are you going to stop bitching, start a revolution, and do something about it? My good Lord Almighty. Now, we did have a program where we talked about the timeline of secret human experiments. And we took quite a bit of time, starting from the early 1900s right up to, I think about 1990s. And talked about a multitude of things. One of the things was
Tuskegee Airmen.
Tell them all about it.
I mean, people remember the movie that was made about it, but also during that time, and I believe it went right through into the 50s, where a bunch of pilots, and they were all black pilots, from like the 30s to the 50s, for over 20 years, and it could have even been longer, but they were supposedly being treated for gonorrhea, but instead they were just being monitored for to see the long-term effects of gonorrhea. Back in the 80s, I believe, is when all this came out, and hence lawsuits and this and that.